Describe the significance of getting the telegram from Joe Weider.
Well, I won a Mr., like I said, Junior Mr. Europe, then I won Mr. Europe the next year. Then I came second in the Mr. Universe competition. I was runner-up with the age of 19. Then I became Mr. Universe, the youngest Mr. Universe with the age of 20. And then Joe Weider started putting me on the cover of his magazines. And I've heard from friends of mine in England that he has been acquiring about and trying to get information about me. And should he bring me over to America and all that? I said to myself, this is really great. I mean, this is the publisher of all the magazines around the world that get translated in all these different languages. We had it in Austria and in Germany also, at the Weider magazine in German. I said, this could really work. I mean, my plan, my master plan is becoming a reality. And sure enough, with the age of 21, when I won the second Mr. Universe title, all of a sudden I got a telegram. And the telegram was just basically said, we want to welcome you and invite you and welcome you in America at the Mr. Universe contest in Florida, which is next week. So I said to myself, this is fantastic. So I got everyone to help so I can get the visa as quickly as possible and then come to America and compete in America at the Mr. Universe competition. And I knew when I packed my gym bag in Munich, where I was living at the time, that I would never come back. This apartment would never see me again.
I've been running round in circles, chasing my tail and lost my way, seeking shelter in different corners, never finding a place to stay. Somehow ended up here on the ground. Brother, help me up, I've fallen down. I know that I'll hurt the ones that I hold dear, the ones I love. Thought that I would find the answers, drinking till my feet felt numb, just like Father did when I was young. I don't know how I could be so dumb. I've been lost far too long. I can't see, I'm trapped in darkness. Life has turned its back on me, it seems. Brother, help me up, I've fallen down. Have you ever felt like someone who's meant to be somewhere else, caught inside a state of mind where nothing's really making sense? That's why I've been left here on the ground. Sister, help me up, I've fallen down.
I was born with an incredible willpower and an enormous positive attitude all my life. I mean, whatever I wanted, I knew I wanted for a reason, because whatever I started, I could see as a finished product. There was never one negative impulse in the last 15 years. Can you imagine you have to doubt that you maybe don't make it? Maybe I will never be a Mr. Universe. That destroys the whole thing. You got to have faith in your vision. Way back when I started training, I visualized what my body should look like to be the best in the world. And then when I had this vision in front of me all the time, I then could go after that. I mean, you have to have the kind of a mind as a sculptor has, because a sculptor has to do the same thing. He has to look at his art and say, well, it's still not in proportion. I have to take a little bit away here, or I have to put more on here to make it get into proportion. And the same a bodybuilder has to do with his body.
When I went to America, I went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day, and I was working on construction, because in those days in bodybuilding there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything, so I had to go to work. So I worked on construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym, and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight I went to acting class 4 times a week. So I did all of that. There was not one single minute that I wasted. Work your ass off. There is no magic pill. There is no magic out there. I became very friendly with Muhammad Ali in the 70s. And Muhammad Ali worked his butt off. And I saw it firsthand. And I remember that there was a sports writer that was there in the gym when he was working out, and he was doing sit-ups. And they asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts. Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain. That's when he starts counting. That is working hard. And so you can't get around the hard work. It doesn't matter who it is. As a matter of fact, I believe what Ted Turner said, work like hell and advertise. You get it? Work like hell, go to bed, and early to rise, work like hell and advertise. So you work your ass off, and then you let the world know about your work. That's what it is all about. Let people know. If you have a company, if you have a movie, if you do a sports, work your ass off, but then advertise and let everyone know.
In order to make it, you said, in bodybuilding, you try to keep your emotions as low as you can. You want to protect yourself so nothing can get to you. When you want to be a champion, you have to be very cold. I'm quoting you, very cold.
Well, okay, I have to explain to you that this means that especially the 2 or 3 months before a competition, you should keep your emotional level to a low. When you get involved, for instance, 2 months before a competition with a woman, and you fall in love, and that energy, falling in love, takes away from your energy in the gymnasium, then obviously that's gonna hurt your progress. So therefore you have to again find out, or ask yourself, what do you want in your life? Do you want to fall in love? Do you want to be married? Do you want to have children and go on with the everyday life like all the other millions of people do? Or do you want to be the one person who is the best? So therefore you have to cut this off and go your road, and don't go sidetracked. Stay cold.
I hate Plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many doubters, as I've said earlier, the no-sayers. We have so many of those people that say no, and you can't do it, it's impossible. That is okay, because we just turn off. But when you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan, I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. And it's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net.
because plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall and I get picked up and I have something else there that will protect me. And that's not good, because people perform better when there's no safety net. People perform better in sports and everything else if you don't have a plan B. I'm telling you, I've never ever had a plan B. I made a full commitment that I'm going to go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm going to be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm going to get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. The same was in politics, everything like that. So to me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B, because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And the reason, one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they are worried about failing. What is if I fail, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something, don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. Michael Jordan said in one of his interviews, when they said, "You are unbelievable, you're the greatest basketball player of all times." I mean, tell me about that. And he says, "Well, you're just mentioning the successes." But he says, "For me to become the greatest basketball player, I missed 9,000 shots when I was playing basketball at the NBA games." So during these games that he was so successful, he missed 9,000 shots. Does it make him a failure? No. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all times, but he failed 9,000 times. Do you get it? We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner. I failed in bodybuilding. I lost bodybuilding competitions. I lost powerlifting competitions. I lost weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went in the toilet and that were terrible, got the worst reviews. And in politics, I remember I had many of the initiatives on the ballot. We lost. The approval rating in California went down to 28%. And then it went back up again and they won again the governorship. Hey, we all lose. We all have losses. This is okay. And this is why I say don't be worried about losing, because when you're afraid of losing, then you get frozen. You get stiff. You're not relaxed. You got to be, in order to perform well in anything, if it's in boxing or if it is on your job or with your thinking, it's only happening when you relax. So relax. It's okay to fail. Let's just go all out and give it everything that you got. That's what it is all about. So don't be afraid to fail.
Growing up like the way I did, poor, and with none of those luxuries, all of those things, made you much more hungry for success. So when you grow up like that, you don't shy away from anything. Nothing could stop me. I think that comes from growing up the way I did. My father really contributed a lot to my hunger. And my father contributed for me to wanting to get away from Austria and to get away from home. Because, they were not like, come on Arnold, stay, can stay as long as you want. No, with 15 I already had to pay to live at home. I mean, I made 300 shilling a month as an apprentice, and 100 shilling I had to give my parents so I could get the food. And I hated that, because my friends didn't have to do that. You know, so it was that kind of a thing. So I said, I'm gonna get away as fast as I can. I will show you guys. So it gave me the motivation to just leave and get out of there. In school, we had always, you know, there was like music one day, and then there was guest speakers another day, and then there was documentaries that they would show. And I remember that I saw on the screen, you know, footage of New York and the high-rises, Empire State Building. I saw, you know, the highways and freeways and the bridges, and everything seemed to me so huge. It was like gigantic. I mean, in Austria, when you live in this little village, you know, you see everything little bridges, little cars, little four-cylinder cars, you know, one-cylinder motorcycles and mopeds and stuff like that. But there it was the Harley Davidson, the huge motorcycle, the huge Cadillacs with the wings and all that stuff. So everything was just gigantic. And I just fell in love with that, and I said to myself, I got to get to America. And so I had this urge of coming to America, so I just couldn't figure out how. And so that's why I think I started with bodybuilding also, because it was a very American sport. And I felt like, well, you know, if I really do well in bodybuilding, if I could become like one of those guys, like Steve Reeves or Reg Park, then I will be eventually invited to come to America and compete over there, or whatever, the movies, whatever. I had my own little fantasy. So there was always ways that I had to figure out, how can I get to America? Well, bodybuilding eventually was the way, the ticket to America.
I was very fortunate that one day after school I walked by a store in Graz. So I went inside and I looked around and I looked at this stuff, and then I saw a magazine. I saw a bodybuilding magazine that had Reg Park on the cover. Reg Park was then a 3-time Mr. Universe. And I saw him on the big screen as Hercules. And on the cover it said, how Reg Park, Mr. Universe, became the Hercules star. That's what the cover story was all about. So I looked at the cover and I said to myself, I got to get this magazine. So I bought the magazine, I took it home and I read it over and over from the front page to the back. It had everything in there, how he trained, how he was working out in Leeds, England, in a factory town, how he worked out every day for 3-4 hours and became the strongest man of Europe, and how he won Mr. Europe, Mr. Great Britain, and then eventually Mr. Universe. I read that and I said to myself, wow, this is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. Do you know how great it felt that I knew where I was going? Imagine the majority of people don't know where they're going. I knew where I was going, that I'm going to become this bodybuilding champion just like him. So it was just a question of, how do you do it? I was so relieved, because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. Because remember that in America, for instance, when you study, you will see the percentage of people that like their jobs. 74% hate their job in America. Now, there is not much different when you come to Europe. The majority of people don't like what they're doing. That is unbelievable if you think about it. So I felt so blessed that I knew what I was doing. So I knew where to go. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they said, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. The others are working out just as hard as you do, and they look sour in the face. Why is that? And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise, for the next half hour of posing and all the kind of things that you have to do to be a champion. I felt so great knowing where I was going, and I tell you, it worked. I mean, think about it. And I was just not visualizing just my exercise, but I was really lifting the trophy over my head. That's what I was thinking about. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. So that's rule number one, have a vision. Rule number two is, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, the thing that I heard out of people's mouth was, that's impossible. That can't be done. So whenever someone said to me, it can't be done, I heard, it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. Because I am a strong believer. I'm a strong believer of what Nelson Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Well, I'm going to be the one, I said to myself, I'm going to do it and I'm going to show it to them. Maybe it has never been done before. That's perfectly fine with me. But I'm going to do it. And I did not listen to the naysayers. If I would have listened to the naysayers, from bodybuilding to show business to politics, I would not be standing here today, talking to you.
Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen. 8-6 all the hate. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the ballin' age. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they doubt it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. Running through it with the young influence. Adolescent presence. I'm succumbing to it. I've been giving yeses when I shouldn't do it. I complete ejected with them losing, and I'm barely moving, but I'm still gon' boost them. I can't work on winnings when I know you're losing. So max. I need racks, paper cash, fuck a tax. That's a joke, tell him laugh. Uncle Sam, fuck out the bag. Brody plot, we'll get a whack. Contract, give me the max. I got lab on my back. You ain't that, then it's raps. Whoa, 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 whoa. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record. Trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate. I woke in a bar today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars, I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record.